Good morning, everyone. My name is Andrew Hall. You may call me Dr. Kennard. This is the Disappointed Cat Morning Show, where we cover some news stories. We have some fun, and there are cats. I've got a lot of good news. Got a lot of crazy news. But first, I want to talk about a Twitter poll I'm running. I put the link in the chat. I put the link in the chat, and I was thinking about it this morning. And we've talked about this before on this channel. Whether or not, here's the question: will Donald Trump lose the 2024 election because so many of his supporters died from COVID? Thank you for those who retweeted. I saw you, Tobin. Thank you. This might be overly optimistic, but we have seen that in red counties, counties that voted for Trump, they are dying at a rate of 2.78 times more than in blue counties, counties that went for Biden. If elections are very close, it could be a deciding factor. So you can take a vote if you want to. All right. I promised that we would see Don Jr. say Jesus is wrong. Let me also say that we, as in the royal sense of we, have footage of Trump getting booed on stage with Bill O'Reilly. Let's do one story at a time. First story. What do we got? Links in the description. If you're listening, if you're watching on YouTube and Facebook, there are links in the description to all of these stories. If you're on Twitter, good morning. Hope you enjoy the show. Here's the guy, Don Jr. I bet you didn't know that Don Jr. had an advanced degree in theology, that he understands how Jesus' teachings should be interpreted in today's world. Well, he apparently thinks he's an expert. Donald Trump Jr. tells young conservatives following the peaceful part of the Bible has gotten us nothing. Now, tell me if I'm wrong, chat, viewers, watchers, lurkers. The peaceful part of the Bible a lot of it happens to be the Jesus part, right? Old Testament God, angry, wrathful. Old Testament, New Testament God, kind of calmed down a little bit, had a kid, relaxed, settled down. I'm sorry, I got this thing. So Don Jr. is telling young conservatives, hey, Jesus may not be all right with me. Let's take a look. While speaking at a Turning Point USA conference in Arizona, Trump praised the group as the front line of freedom. And if we band together, we can take on these institutions, he insisted. That's where we've gone wrong for a long time. They cannot cancel us all, the former president's son said. This will be contrary to a lot of our beliefs because I'd love not to have to participate in cancel culture. I'd love that it didn't exist. But as long as it does, folks, we'd be playing the same game. We better be playing the same game. According to Trump, conservatives have been playing T-ball while liberals played hardball. He suggested that conservatives should not turn the other cheek despite the biblical instructions of Jesus Christ. Let me say it again for those of you in the cheap seats in the back. He suggested that conservatives should not turn the other cheek despite the biblical instructions of Jesus Christ. It seems as though this man, Don Trump Jr., is saying the quiet part out loud, the things that he should be saying, keeping to himself in his brain. He shouldn't be saying it out loud because we know that many right-wing evangelicals don't know their Bible, and they certainly don't follow the teachings of Jesus Christ. But is there video? There is video. Let me see if I can. I'm going to hit some buttons and see if I can share this properly with you all. One button pressed. Oh, look at me. I'm doing so well this morning. Donald Trump Jr. Here he comes. Right into your ears. We're not going to do the whole speech. I know you're really disappointed with that, everyone. We're not going to do the whole speech, but check it out.
We've been playing T-ball for half a century while they're playing hardball and cheating, right? We've turned the other cheek, and I understand I understand sort of the biblical reference. I understand the mentality. But it's gotten us nothing. Okay? It's gotten us nothing. While we've ceded ground in every major institution in our country.
So not only is he refuting the words of Jesus, but he's also advocating. He seems to be implying that violence isn't a bad option, because if you ignore the pacifistic parts of the Bible, what you have is genocide. Just ask the Amalekites. Dropping that Old Testament vibe here. Going to check out the chat before we go to the next story, and where we get to see Donald J. Trump and Bill O'Reilly booed. And we're also going to talk about how Donald J. Trump may be losing control of the Republican Party. Oh, so much crazy news this morning, everyone. Checking out the chat here on YouTube. If you want to join us, I can interact with you if you come over to YouTube. Good morning, Tobin, Big Zebra, John Hudson. Glad to see that you're here this morning. Dean Kruger. Good morning, sir. From Cape Town. It seems pretty warm out there this morning. Or what? It's morning here, I'm sure. It's not morning there. Big Zebra. And Glenn Chesterton. I haven't seen you for a while, Glenn. Hope you're doing well. And Phil Lister. Good morning, sir. Sean. We have a lot of international people here on the YouTube chat, which is great. Gives us a better perspective of how things are going here in the States. Let's see. Did I get everyone? I think I got everyone. Jess M. Good morning, Jess M. And all right. Black female atheist. Good morning. I promised you a video of Donald J. Trump getting booed along with Bill O'Reilly. So it's two idiots with one stone. Two fascists with one stone. Let's check out the story, everyone, and see what's going on. Links in the description below, like I said before. Oh, and there he is. There's the guy. Trump tells supporters you're playing right into their hands by doubting the COVID-19 vaccine. I assert that one of the reasons why Trump lost the election in 2020, and this is not a genius insight on my part, is the fact that COVID was destroying the country, that it was destroying the economy, and people don't like it when a leader doesn't lead in a time of crisis. So we can see Trump's attempt to convince his supporters to get vaccinated, or at least to say the vaccine's okay, as a realization that he made a mistake in 2020 and he's trying to right course. Not so successful. Not so successful with that. Let's take this. Former President Donald Trump confronted a crowd of supporters over vaccine skepticism. He told his fans to take credit for the vaccines instead of being against them. You're playing right into their hands, he said during his tour with Bill O'Reilly. We've seen him try to tell his supporters before that the vaccine wasn't evil, that Satan's blood, the mark of the beast, whatever you want to call it, isn't in the vaccine. And he got booed then. This is a couple of months ago. Let's take a look at this video, everyone, and see what's going on, see what's what. Because we know that Donald J. Trump, just as some background, Donald J. Trump and Bill O'Reilly are on a tour to promote history, or their version of history. That's white supremacy to you and me. Here's the dynamic duo.
But look, we did something that was historic. We saved tens of millions of lives worldwide. We, together, all of us, not me, we got a vaccine done, 3 vaccines done, and tremendous therapeutics like Regeneron and other things that have saved a lot of lives. We got a vaccine done in less than 9 months. It was supposed to take from 5 to 12 years. Because of that vaccine, millions and millions of people, I think this would have been the Spanish flu of 1917, where up to 100 million people died. This was going to ravage the country far beyond what it is right now. Take credit for it. Take credit for it. It's a great, what we've done is historic. Don't let them take it away. Don't take it away from ourselves. You're playing right into their hands when you sort of like, oh, the vaccine. If you don't want to take it, you shouldn't be forced to take it. No mandates, but take credit because we saved tens of millions of lives. Take credit. Don't let them take that away from you.
Okay, so the president made news.
Do you agree with that? Right?
Both the president and I are vaxxed, and did you get the booster?
Yes.
I got it too. Okay, so
Don't. That's all. There's a very tiny group of it.
So you can see that they're booing towards the end so much that Trump has to go, oh, no. And then in classic Trump style, he wants to downplay it as much as humanly possible. It's just a small group over there, just a small group of people booing that I got the booster shot, as well as Bill O'Reilly did. That is just music to my ears, everyone. Just music. Going to check out the chat and see what you have to think about this. What do you have to say about Trump getting booed? How much coffee has Andy drunk today? This is my second cup. Let's see. BigZebra.com. What does Big Zebra say? Later, the two of them will get together and compare notes on how to sexually harass children. That's right. We do. We need to go over the fact that Bill O'Reilly did get kicked off of Fox News for being gropey. Tesla Ranger says, take credit for the life-saving vaccine, but doesn't take the vaccine. Well, yes, I know. Well, let's not forget, Tesla Ranger, is that the nature of fascism is that it's not a coherent set of beliefs. Fascism is not a coherent set of beliefs. It is this irrational relationship between the people, between the followers and their leader. That's the most salient thing about fascism. It is a relationship between the leader to the followers. It's kind of like the Bible in that way. And that is manspread. Donald J. Trump does like to spread his legs. And, that's a dominance. That's actually a sign of dominance for a lot of people. A lot of men perceive that as a sign of dominance, to spread out, right? And even though, of course, I'm not a big fan of Donald J. Trump, the politician, Donald J. Trump, the human being, I just want to point out that the man knows how to work a crowd. If you saw how he interacted with the crowd, how he goes, hey, don't we all agree with that? And he got the cheers. And he got the cheers just before they dropped the knowledge, right? Because he wanted to build up momentum. He wanted to build up some cheering, right? Some excitement just before they dropped the bomb that both men, Bill O'Reilly and Donald J. Trump, got the booster shot. Whatever you say about Donald J. Trump, and I have not a lot to say about him, he does know how to work a crowd in a purely entertainment kind of way. Evil. He's evil, of course. What's up? Iron Chariot's here. I hope you're doing well this morning. You didn't find the black Santa hat? Oh, you found it only on evil Amazon. Yes, indeed. All right. You want to do the halftime tummy rub show? The halftime tummy rub show is where we take a break, relax, and watch a quick cat video, right? There's nothing wrong with that. Let's do that right now. How can you not get excited about a cat working out, trying to drop some weight, especially when the New Year's is coming? When New Year's is coming pretty soon, right? So I just want to let you know there's no ads on this channel. You might go to other YouTube channels and there are ads. I can run ads. Don't get me wrong. I don't like ads. Completely supported by viewers like you, right? YouTube members, patrons, people who throw me some super chats, people who donate via Venmo or PayPal. Links are in the description below, everyone. So thank you. I just want to say that. And also, we're doing an open room for atheists, humanists, progressives at 9:30 to 10:30 for those of you new here. And we just talk about anything. We may talk about atheism. We may talk about politics. We may talk about art. Who knows? But that's starting at 9:30. This show runs until about 9:25 or so. All right. Checking out the chat one more time before we go to the last story about how Donald Trump may be losing control of the Republican Party. Perhaps. And this isn't really as much good news as just news, though it's some schadenfreude, with Donald Trump. I'm getting ahead of myself. All right. Oz, good to see you. I don't know if any of you saw, or some of you have, obviously some of you saw it, the after party after show yesterday with Raging Atheist, Oz from the Tank Channel, and your humble Dr. Kennard. We had a great conversation. Hopefully we'll have another great conversation today with whoever shows up. Good morning, Dee. Good to see you. Good to see you. I don't know if I said hello to Cryptameria either, but I should have. All right. Last story. Here we go. Marjorie Taylor Greene's polio vaccine comment gets scorched. Far right. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene is using the new COVID-19 surge to sow more doubt about the coronavirus vaccines, which sharply reduce the chances of serious illness and death. Greene, on Sunday, tweeted a link to an article about New Jersey Senator Cory Booker's breakthrough case in which he credited vaccination for keeping his symptoms minor. I can't do her voice. I'm sorry. I just can't sound that irritating. I try. I really try. How many breakthrough cases of polio are there? Greene wrote. Greene's off-key comment comparing breakthrough COVID cases, which are mostly mild, with polio, which was mostly eradicated in the decades after a vaccine was introduced, landed with a thud. As usual, the anti-vaccine, pro-conspiracy lawmaker missed the point and was flat out wrong, people on Twitter pointed out. Critics noted the near universal compliance with the polio shot. Remember, there was a time when a vast majority of Americans respected what scientists said. There was a time. Only 61% of the U.S. population is fully vaccinated against the coronavirus, and many who refuse the shots buy into anti-vaccine conspiracy theories pushed by the likes of Greene. They also schooled Greene on the COVID-19's vaccine proven protection against death and hospitalization, and provided some history about vaccines in America. And yes, there have been breakthrough cases of polio and even measles, despite the game-changing inoculations. And here's one Twitter comment I'm going to share with you. One comment responding to Marjorie Taylor Greene that hit hard. That hit. It was on point. Seth Abramson. New CDC data shows that unvaccinated people face a 20 times greater risk of dying from COVID-19 than fully vaccinated people who have received a booster dose. Understand that the GOP is a death cult. I'm going to say it again because it bears repeating. Understand that the GOP is a death cult, and anyone who spreads vaccine disinformation is death's accomplice. It's no surprise that Marjorie Taylor Greene is an evangelical Christian. It's no surprise that she is part of a death cult, because death cultists are gonna death cult. Now, some of you may say, wait a minute. Donald J. Trump is saying the vaccines are good. Marjorie Taylor Greene is saying that the vaccines are bad. Now, if they're on the same team, why aren't they coherent in their messaging? Well, you see, my friends, they are not on the same team. Marjorie Taylor Greene supports Donald J. Trump only to a certain limit, and that is very transactional. She is riding on his coattails until it proves inconvenient. And the thing is, this movement from Donald J. Trump's official line to a more radical line on vaccines is a sign how he could be losing control of the Donald Trump wing of the Republican Party. If there's one thing we know about revolutions, historically speaking, is that a revolution isn't monolithic. There are several. One revolution can spark another one, can spark another one. Movement can start somewhere, let's say center right, but then can polarize into more and more right-wing fundamentalism. And that's what we could be seeing here. Donald J. Trump losing control and lunatics further to the right, like Marjorie Taylor Greene, taking more control of that wing of the party, gaining ascendancy. It is a story that we are going to be covering here on this channel, on this show. All right, I'm going to check out the chat before we start closing things up here. Checking out the chat here on YouTube, of course. If you're on Facebook or Twitter, I can't really see your comments. You'd have to come over to YouTube for that. All right. Let's take a look. Glenn said, let's see, who talking makes you want to get a lobotomy? Green, Bobart, or Bachman? That's a good question, Glenn. I mean, I would say Green. Green, I mean, just the tone of her voice, I think, is more like chalkboard, nails on a chalkboard. John Hudson, right? Old school. I knew people who had polio and survived. They were crippled all their lives and eventually died an early death. True that? True that? Yeah. All right, so let's see. I'm going to take a look here. So this is 22 minutes and 44 seconds into the show. I'm going to start wrapping things up, everyone. Moderators, if you have to moderate in the YouTube chat, feel free to moderate. But I can't stop the show and looking at large blocks of text, basically. I'm going to do one more cat video and then say goodbye. Wow, fuzzy. So I'm going to throw the thank you video for YouTube members and patrons, and then I'm going to see you at 9:30 on this YouTube channel. I think we're broadcasting on Facebook and Twitter too for the After Party After Show. Take care, everyone. Thank you, watchers, viewers, observers, lurkers, small furry animals from Alpha Centauri. I'll see you at 9:30.